Super little quickie, just to show you how I'm marking out. So there is one of my spreaders. There is the rear cross member. So the rear cross member is 40 by 40. The spreader is 150, which gives me 55 each side. What I do is I draw a cross in the middle of it. That is the bit that's not gonna, and that's where I shall drill it, and it'll be on the side too. So that's how I do my drilling. That's how I do my marking out to make it as even as I can. I will be radiusing all corners. Okay, you get the idea. There's one of them. I've got to do one for each corner. Let's see. Get this torch. There we go. And now, that is why I made it out of channel. And if any of you are thinking, well, you should have staggered those bolts. Yeah, you're right. Or I could have just turned them round so that the heads were on this end rather than the bolts. It's not a massive deal. Yeah, I could have staggered them. That's my dog. Well, Morris, come say hello to the camera. Ooh, funny dog. So I want to fasten it into box section now, which is the middle bit. So I've shown you them, and I want to fasten that Ooh, must be the wrong way around. There we go. That's better. I want to fasten that just there, and that's because the central bar is the bar that takes the pull. So that's what I'm doing that so that the forces there are spread out to the sides. Now it's boxed, so we can't get to it. We can't see up. You see it's closed off there. We could at the far end, but there's no way that we'd be able to get something down on the other side. So basically, what we're going to use is nutserts. And I don't know if you've used these before, but these are a godsend. And there we go. Let's put them a little bit further away. So it's got a thread inside it. It's M6. So I'm going to have 4 M6 nutserts into there, and these work like rivets. Okay, so let me put this down. Okay, and I'm going to ruin one just to show you. Okay, here's my nutsert tool. Looks very much like a rivet gun, for good reason. And just like with a rivet gun, we've got different size heads, exactly the same as a rivet gun. I want M6 nutsert into my hole, so that's an M6 end. Now, there we go. Right, so there's the nutsert. Okay, and that's the top. So just the same way that you see it best. Okay. I'm going to squeeze now. Okay, can you see that bulging? Okay, There you go. See that bulge? Well, when that's inside a hole that I've drilled in that bulge grips. Okay, so I'm going to drill the right size holes for those nutserts and then I will show you. I've got another little tip for you. So I drilled these and then I marked them up. Okay, so I've drilled the holes through there. You can see the light? Yeah, here we go. And I've marked them up there and I've drilled one of the holes. Now, although I've marked and I've stamped these, if I put that there and then okay, and then just drop that M6 bolt in there. Okay, it's not threaded, it's just loose, but when I drill my next hole, I'll show you. Actually, it's easier to show you than talk. So I'm going to drill some more holes, but I'm going to make sure I'm going to keep adding these as I go in, and it will definitely line up. And that's just important because I've seen people measure and measure and measure and still get it wrong. So don't measure. Drop that in there. It can't be wrong. You can't not line up once you've already dropped a bolt in as you go. So I drilled that one first without anything on. Just drilled that other one in. Now it's held firm. So when I drill these next two in there, I know that they're going to line up. So it might sound a bit obvious, but I've seen people scratch their heads for an awful long time and measure 2-3 times and still got it wrong. If you do it like this, it's always going to line up. That's the bit that I just did with the M6 nuts, M6 bolts going into the box section. We've got M8s at the end. So that is super tough. Super tough, that is. Very pleased with that. On top of that is going to be my saddles to take the ends of my springs and my spreaders and spread the load out. I'll do the same thing up there now. Right. The final prep, and that is cleaning paint off so that we can get a good weld on it and measuring it up and clamping it up. So that's it. So it's on. I will do the ends and I will unbolt it and do underneath, but that's it. Not surprisingly, it's a bit warm. Yeah, so that's in the right place, all lined up and all that sort of stuff. And the second one should look like that. So there it is. Got my 2 cross members in. I'm talking quite quietly because it's quite late at night. Welding's not too bad. I'm getting better at welding. That's no surprise there. I suppose do anything often enough, get good at it. I'm not disappointed with this, with the welds on this at all. Not bad. I'm gonna wait for it to cool. In the morning, I will put the axle on, turn it over, and give it a bounce. All right, and that's the last of the welding done. Put the front on, and I think relatively importantly, I have closed in the ends of this box, you see, and you've only got to knock the end out of cardboard box to see the difference in strength by when something's closed in or when it isn't closed in. I reckon closing the end of that box off will add immense strength to that. And like I say, if you don't believe me, take the ends off a cardboard box, barely hold itself up. Oh, so I've cut the end of the springs off. They were just sticking out further than they needed to. And then I've put these little plates on top so that when it bounces like that, they don't go all the way around. I might well put something between there and there. If it makes any noise, I don't know. I mean, obviously it's going to have gravity to hold it down anyway. But when it hits a jump, it'll flex and it'll bounce and that sort of stuff. So we'll put something in there. Oh, I'm excited now. It's the right way up. I don't think I'm going to bother with a... That's never a good sign, is it? Spare bolt. I don't think I'm going to bother with a jockey wheel to hold the front up, because that stabiliser leg is right there. It's not very far. And yeah, I thought that was better there, because this is about where your main torso is. The main weight is here, your head's there, main torso's there, and your legs are there. So I think this is where most of the weight of the body is going to be, which is why the stabiliser legs are there. If there's a lot of movement, I've got the brackets to put extra stabiliser legs there and there. But if I can get away without it, because these are quite heavy, I think. Though having said that, if I can justify the expense and get some 34mm aluminium tube, I will get those made out of aluminium instead of steel, because I think they're too heavy. But, oh, it's a cutie.